But I like to think that if we hadn't had a lot of these issues, we would have made progress over the last 10 years too. So I sort of give it this time frame. Maybe 20 years is too long. Maybe it's 15, but it's hard to know with politics.
It feels like mental health and youth mental health may be the next wave of this.
That I think is the next big fight. And on that, I think a lot of the data on this, I think is just not where the narrative is. The narrative, I think the narrative is a lot of people sort of take it as if it's like an assumed thing that there's some link, and like I think the majority of the high quality research that's out there suggests that there's no causal connection at kind of a broad scale between these things. So now look, I mean, I think that's different from saying like in any given issue, like is someone bullied? Should we try to stop bullying? Yeah, of course. But yeah, overall, I think that this is one where there are a bunch of these cases. I think that there will be a lot of litigation around them, and it's one where we're trying to make sure that the academic research that shows something that I think is, to me, it sort of foots more with what I've seen of how the platforms operate, but it's counter to what a lot of people think. And I think that that's going to be a reckoning that we'll have to have is basically when, as the kind of the majority of the high quality academic research kind of gets shown, is like, okay, can people accept this? And I think that that's going to be a really important set of debates over the next few years.
At the same time, you guys have acknowledged there's affordances in the product, like the teen rollout with Instagram recently, that you can make to make the product a better experience for young people.
Yeah, and I think this is an interesting part of the balance is you can play a role in trying to make something better, even if the thing wasn't caused by you in the first place. Like, there's no doubt that being a parent is really hard. And there's a big question of, in this internet age where we have phones, what are the right tools that parents need in order to be able to raise their kids? And like, I think that we can play a role in giving people controls over parental controls over the apps. I think that parental controls are also really important because parents have different ways that they want to raise their kids. Or just like schooling and education, people have like very significantly different local preferences for how they want to raise their kids. I don't think that most people want some internet company setting all the rules for this either. So obviously, when there are laws passed, we'll kind of follow the government's direction and the laws on that. But I actually think the right approach for us is to primarily kind of align with parents to give them the tools that they want to be able to raise their kids in the way that they want. And some people are going to think that more technology use is good. That's sort of how my parents, raised me growing up. I think it worked pretty well. Some people are going to be kind of more want to limit it more, and we want to give them the tools to be able to do that. But I don't think that this is, primarily or only a social media thing. Even the parts of this that are technology.
Age verification.
I think phones, like the phone platforms, have a huge part of this. I mean, it's, there's this big question of how do you do age verification? And I can tell you what the easiest way is, which is like, all right, like every time you go do a payment on your phone, there already is basically like child age verification. So I don't really understand. Well, I guess I understand, but I think it's not very, excusable from my perspective why Apple and I guess to some